The lawyer finished reading. This concludes the last will and testament of William Barrett. All assets are to be divided equally between his children, Marcus Barrett, Caroline Barrett, and Jennifer Barrett. My sister Caroline smiled, relieved. Well, that's clear enough. My brother Marcus nodded. Three-way split. Fair. Dad was always fair. Jennifer, my younger sister, looked satisfied. Exactly as it should be. Equal division. I sat there, confused, waiting for my name. But the lawyer was putting papers away. That concludes the reading. If you have questions, please contact my office. I found my voice. Wait, what about me? Caroline frowned. What about you, Grace? My name wasn't mentioned. Marcus exchanged a glance with Caroline. Grace, you're not. You weren't in the will. That's impossible. I'm Dad's daughter. Dad had 4 children, Jennifer said carefully. Marcus, Caroline, me, and you. But the will only mentions 3 of us. The lawyer, Peter Morrison, cleared his throat. Miss Barrett, your father's will is very specific. 3 beneficiaries, Marcus, Caroline, and Jennifer. Your name does not appear. There must be a mistake. There's no mistake, Caroline said. Her voice wasn't sympathetic, just matter of fact. Dad made his decision. The will is clear. Everything is divided between Marcus, Caroline, and Jennifer. You're not included. But why, Grace? Marcus interrupted. You know why. You were never really part of the family business. Never contributed. The rest of us worked at Barrett Properties for years. You chose a different path. Dad rewarded the children who actually helped build what he created. I took care of him for 3 years. You lived with him. There's a difference. We worked for him, built careers at his company, grew the business. That matters more than just being there. Everyone stood, already discussing asset division, already planning, like I wasn't even in the room. I sat alone. My father, William Barrett, had left a $52 million real estate empire to his 3 children. His 4th child, not mentioned, not acknowledged, not remembered. That night, I went to Dad's house, the house in Savannah where I'd lived for the past 3 years, taking care of him after Mom died, managing his medications, making sure he wasn't alone. The house my siblings would be selling soon, dividing the proceeds. Without me, I walked through the empty rooms. Everything felt wrong. Dad wouldn't have forgotten me, wouldn't have left me out completely, would he? I went to his bedroom, to his desk where he'd spent every morning reading the newspaper, checking emails, managing his life. The desk had drawers. Most were empty now. My siblings had already started clearing things out. But the bottom right drawer was locked. Small keyhole, old-fashioned lock. I'd never noticed before, never thought about it. But now I wondered, why would Dad lock one drawer? I searched for a key, checked his nightstand, his bathroom, his closet, found it, taped to the back of his bedside table, small brass key. I unlocked the drawer, opened it. Inside, a sealed envelope, my name written on it in Dad's handwriting. For Grace. When they say the will is clear, open this. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside, documents, a letter, and a business card for a law firm I'd never heard of. I read the letter. Grace, if you're reading this, you just sat through a will reading where your name was never called. Marcus, Caroline, and Jennifer probably looked satisfied, relieved, like everything was settled exactly as it should be. They're wrong. The will they heard was real, but incomplete. They inherited Barrett Properties, my real estate company worth $52 million, split 3 ways. But I have something else, something they don't know about, something bigger. Call the law firm on this card. Ask for Thomas Wilkinson. He's been holding documents for you. Documents that will explain everything. I'm sorry I couldn't include you in the public will. I'm sorry you had to hear your siblings say you weren't really part of the family. But you were the only real family I had. The only one who actually cared about me. That's why you get the real inheritance. I love you, sweetheart. Dad, my name is Grace Barrett. I'm 32 years old. And this is how a locked drawer revealed the truth. Savannah, Georgia. law office downtown. Peter Morrison had read Dad's will this morning. One side, my siblings. Marcus, 40, VP of Operations at Barrett Properties, making $250,000 annually, already calculating his inheritance. $17.3 million. Not bad. Caroline, 38, VP of Development, $220,000 salary, already planning what to do with her $17.3 million. Maybe that beach house she'd always wanted. Jennifer, 28, Director of Acquisitions, $180,000. Young, successful, looking forward to her $17.3 million. Financial security at 28. All of them. Dad's successful business children, working at Barrett Properties, building the company, maintaining the family legacy. Other side. Me, alone, former pharmaceutical sales rep who'd quit 3 years ago to take care of Dad. No salary, no career, no mention in the will. My father, William Barrett, had died 2 weeks ago at 75. Heart attack in his sleep. Sudden, peaceful. He'd built Barrett Properties from nothing. Commercial and residential real estate development. Started with one property in 1980. Grew to $52 million company by 2024. He'd had 4 children with my mother, Sarah. All of us raised to value hard work, family, legacy. Marcus was oldest. Worked at Barrett Properties since college. 30 years with the company. Caroline followed. 25 years with the company. Helped expand into residential development. Jennifer was youngest before me. 7 years with the company, bringing modern acquisition strategies. Then there was me, the 4th child, the one who'd chosen pharmaceutical sales over the family business. I want to do my own thing, I'd told Dad. Build my own career, he'd supported that. Good for you, Grace. Be independent, but my siblings never forgave me. You abandoned the family business. Chose money over legacy. 3 years ago, Mom died. Breast cancer. 6-month battle. Lost. Dad was devastated. 72 years old. Lost without her. Depressed. Lonely. My siblings' response. Dad needs to stay busy. Working at the company will help him cope. My response. Dad needs family, not work. I'd quit my sales job. Moved into Dad's house. Became his companion. Not just caregiver companion. Someone to talk to. Eat with. Watch TV with. Be there. For 3 years, I'd been there. Every day. Making sure Dad wasn't alone in his grief. Helping him find joy again. Being family. Marcus, Caroline, and Jennifer kept working. Visited Dad maybe twice a month. Were running his company. That's how we honor him. But they weren't there when Dad cried about Mom. When he couldn't sleep. When he needed someone to just sit with him. I was there. For 3 years. Every day. And the will left me nothing. Until I found the drawer. Before we continue, if you're loving the story of locked drawers and hidden inheritances, hit that like button and subscribe. Because stories where forgotten daughters find secret fortunes while successful siblings get less. That's this channel. You won't believe what those documents revealed. Back to the story. The next morning, I called the law firm. I need to speak with Thomas Wilkinson. My name is Grace Barrett. My father, William Barrett, said to call. One moment, Miss Barrett. Mr. Wilkinson has been expecting your call. 2 hours later, I sat in Thomas Wilkinson's office. Different law firm than Peter Morrison's. More private, more discreet. Thomas was 60. Distinguished, kind eyes. Grace, your father spoke about you often. He was very proud of you. Then why wasn't I in his will? You weren't in the public will, but you're very much in the private trust. Let me explain. He pulled out documents. 3 years ago, your father came to me, said he wanted to create a separate estate, something his other children wouldn't know about. He was very specific about why. Why? Because when your mother died, you were the only child who actually showed up. Who quit your job? Who moved home? Who cared about him as a person, not as the owner of Barrett Properties? He opened a file. Your father created Barrett Family Trust, separate from Barrett Properties. Over 3 years, he transferred assets, quietly, legally, without your siblings knowing. What kind of assets? Rental properties he owned personally, not through the company, stock portfolios, investment accounts, real estate he'd purchased independently, all moved into Barrett Family Trust. How much? Thomas slid a document across the desk. Current valuation, $68 million. I couldn't breathe. $68 million? Your siblings inherited Barrett properties, worth $52 million, split 3 ways, $17.3 million each before taxes. You inherited Barrett Family Trust, worth $68 million, all yours. That's impossible. Dad couldn't have hidden $68 million. He didn't hide it. He separated it. These assets were always his personally, not company assets. He moved them into a trust with you as sole beneficiary. Completely legal, properly documented. Why didn't he just put me in the will? Because he wanted to test your siblings one final time. Wanted to see how they'd react when they thought you got nothing. And he wanted you to understand. You got more because you gave more. He handed me another document, a letter from Dad. Grace, if you're reading this, Thomas has explained the trust. You're probably shocked, confused. Maybe you don't believe it's real. It's real. I spent 3 years building this for you. Let me explain why. When your mother died, I thought my life was over. 72 years old, married 45 years, lost without her. I didn't want to live. Marcus's response: Dad, stay busy at the company. Work will help you cope. Caroline's response: Dad, you need routine. Come to the office every day. Jennifer's response: Dad, we need you at Barrett Properties. The company needs you, all of them. Trying to keep me busy, keep me working, keep me useful, but none of them actually trying to help me grieve. You quit your job, moved home, said, Dad, you need family, not work. For 3 years, you've been here, not working for me, not managing anything, just being with me, watching old movies, taking walks, talking about Mom, letting me grieve. Your siblings think that's worthless. They think contribution means business contribution, career contribution. I think contribution means being there when someone needs you. That's why I created Barrett Family Trust 3 years ago, after I realized you were the only child who actually loved me, not my company. I transferred $68 million in personal assets into this trust. All yours. Marcus, Caroline, and Jennifer get Barrett Properties. They've worked there their whole lives. They deserve the company they helped build. But you get the bigger fortune because you helped me survive losing your mother. Because you gave me 3 years when they gave me nothing. When they say the will is clear, let them say it. Let them divide Barrett Properties. Then reveal Barrett Family Trust. And let them understand what real family means. I love you, Grace. You saved my life after Mom died. This trust is my thank you. Dad, I sat in Thomas's office, crying, reading Dad's letter over and over. For 3 years, I'd thought my siblings were right, that I'd wasted time, that I should have kept my career, that living with Dad was a mistake. But Dad had been building this secret trust, hidden fortune, all for me. Thomas handed me tissues. Your father was very clear about his intentions. You get $68 million because you gave 3 years. They get $17.3 million each because they gave nothing. They'll contest, let them try. The trust was created 3 years ago, before your father had any health issues. Completely competent. Multiple witnesses, filed properly. They have no grounds. They'll be furious. They'll be humiliated. Because the trust documents include your father's reasoning, written explanation of why you get more, details about how often they visited versus how often you were there, evidence of who actually cared. When do I have to tell them? Legally? Never. The trust is private. But your father suggested waiting a week. Let them celebrate. Let them divide Barrett Properties. Let them think they won. Then reveal what you actually inherited. That sounds like Dad. He wanted them to learn a lesson. about what matters, about family versus business, about love versus greed. Let me tell you about those 3 years. The 3 years my siblings dismissed. The 3 years that earned me $68 million. 3 years ago, Mom's funeral. All of us gathered. Dad was broken, sobbing, lost. After the service, Marcus, Dad, you should come back to work next week. Staying busy will help, Caroline. We need you at the office. Projects need approval, Jennifer. Don't sit around grieving. That makes it worse. Come to work, all of them. Focused on getting Dad back to work. Back to being useful. Back to being the CEO who signed papers. I'd pulled Dad aside. Dad, ignore them. Take time. Grieve. I'll stay with you. Grace, you have your job. I quit yesterday. I'm moving home. You need family, not work. You can't quit your job for me. I already did. It's done. I'm here. For 3 years, I'd been there. Every single day. Year 1 was hardest. Dad couldn't function, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, cried constantly. I learned to just be present, not fix it, not rush him, just be there. My siblings visited twice monthly, 15-minute visits. Hi, Dad. How are you? Still sad? You should really consider coming back to work. It would help. They never stayed, never sat with him, never let him talk about Mom, just suggested work and left. Year 2, Dad started healing, could talk about Mom without breaking down, could laugh again, could enjoy things. We'd watch old movies, take walks, cook together, live. My siblings kept working. Dad's doing better. Good thing he has Grace there. We're too busy at the company. Year 3. Dad was mostly himself again. Still sad sometimes. Still missed Mom, but functional, happy, grateful. Grace, you gave up 3 years for me. I didn't give up anything. I gained 3 years with you. Your career can be rebuilt. You can't be rebuilt. You needed me. I was here. Your siblings think you wasted time. My siblings think time is money. They're wrong. 6 months ago, Dad told me, I've been planning something to show you that your time mattered. You don't need to show me anything. I do. Because the world thinks success means money and career. I want to prove that success means love and time. You'll understand when I'm gone. 2 weeks ago, heart attack. Sudden. He died before the ambulance arrived. I was devastated, but not guilty, because I'd been there for 3 years. Every day, I had no regrets. My siblings came to the funeral, sad, but also already planning. We need to schedule will reading, get estate settled, sell the house, divide assets. For them, Dad's death meant business transition. For me, it meant losing someone I'd spent 3 years loving. Until the will reading, until they looked satisfied, until they said the will is clear, until I found the drawer and learned Dad had left me more than they ever imagined. To my children, you just heard my will. Barrett Properties worth $52 million divided equally between Marcus, Caroline, and Jennifer. You're satisfied, pleased, already planning how to grow the company, how to maximize profits, how to cash out eventually. Grace wasn't mentioned. You're not surprised, probably relieved. She didn't work for the company, doesn't deserve inheritance. Let me tell you what you actually inherited, and what Grace actually got. Marcus, you get $17.3 million in Barrett Properties shares. Before taxes, maybe $11 million. You'll keep working there, drawing $250,000 salary. In 10 years, you'll have maybe $15 million total. You visited me twice a month after Mom died. 30-minute visits. Talked about work. Never asked how I was actually feeling. Never stayed to really talk. Just performed the role of good son then left. You gave me business advice. I needed emotional support. There's a difference. Caroline, you get $17.3 million in Barrett Properties shares. About $11 million after taxes. You'll keep working, drawing $220,000. In 10 years, maybe $14 million. You visited me twice a month after Mom died. always brought practical solutions. Dad, you should travel. Dad, you should date. Dad, you should stay busy. Never just sat with me in my grief. Never let me talk about mom without trying to fix it. Never understood that I needed presents, not solutions. Jennifer, you get $17.3 million in shares, $11 million after taxes. You'll work at Barrett Properties for a few more years, then cash out. Start your own company. In 10 years, maybe $12 million after lifestyle expenses. You visited me maybe once a month after mom died. You were busy, young, building your career. I understood, but I needed you and you weren't there. You gave me updates about your life. I needed you to ask about mine. Grace, you're not in the public will. Your siblings think you got nothing. They're wrong. 3 years ago, I created Barrett Family Trust. Separate from Barrett Properties, I transferred $68 million in personal assets, rental properties, stock portfolios, real estate investments I'd accumulated over 50 years. All yours. While Marcus, Caroline, and Jennifer worked at my company, you worked on my heart. Helped me heal from losing your mother. Gave me 3 years of actual family. They gave me business. You gave me love. Love is worth more. In 10 years, Marcus, Caroline, and Jennifer will each have $15 million from their company shares. You'll have $90 million because Barrett Family Trust is invested in growth assets. It'll appreciate. You'll manage it well. You'll build something. They think the will is clear. They think they got the inheritance. They think you got nothing. Let them think that. Let them celebrate. Let them divide the company. Then reveal Barrett Family Trust and watch them understand what real family means. I love all my children, but I love the child who actually showed up when I needed her. That's you, Grace. That's why you get the bigger fortune. With love and clarity, Dad, I finished reading, hands shaking. Dad had watched everything, noticed every visit, counted every minute, documented who actually cared versus who just performed, and he'd rewarded accordingly. There was one more document. Thomas handed it to me. Your father recorded conversations with your siblings over 3 years. He wanted you to hear what they really thought. He plugged in a USB drive, played audio files. Year 1, Marcus talking to Caroline. How long is Grace going to stay with Dad? It's been 6 months. This is getting weird, I know. She quit her job. She's just sitting there watching TV with him all day. She's positioning herself, obviously, wants Dad to leave her more in the will. Should we say something to Dad? No, let her waste her time. Dad knows who actually built his company. He'll reward us, not her. Year to Caroline talking to Jennifer. Grace is still there, living with Dad. It's been almost 2 years. She has no life, no job, no career, just sits with Dad. She must think she's earning inheritance. Like caregiving equals business contribution. Dad's not stupid. He knows the difference. We're the ones growing Barrett Properties. Grace is just there, exactly. When Dad dies, we'll inherit the company. Grace will get a token amount, maybe $1 million. That's it. Year 3, Jennifer talking to Marcus. How much longer is this going to go on? Grace has been there 3 years now, I know. It's pathetic. She's 32 and has no career. She's wasted her prime earning years playing companion to Dad. When he dies, she'll have nothing. No job skills, no recent experience, just 3 years of unemployment and barely any inheritance. Dad's estate goes to us, to the children who actually work, as it should be. 3 years of recordings, proving they thought I was wasting time, proving they expected to inherit everything, proving they valued business over family. Dad had documented all of it. I heard footsteps outside Thomas's office. The door opened. Marcus walked in. Grace? What are you doing here? Behind him, Caroline and Jennifer. They'd followed me, somehow tracked me down. I'm meeting with Dad's attorney. His private attorney. Private attorney? Caroline frowned. Peter Morrison was Dad's attorney. Peter handled the public will. Thomas handled something else. What else? Marcus demanded. Thomas stood. Miss Barrett, you don't have to share this information. No, it's fine. They should know. I looked at my siblings. Dad created a separate trust 3 years ago, called Barrett Family Trust. He transferred personal assets into it. Assets outside Barrett Properties. What assets? Jennifer's voice was suspicious. Rental properties, stocks, investments, things he owned privately. Total value, $68 million. Silence. Complete silence. Then Caroline, $68 million. That's impossible. We would have known. You didn't know because Dad kept it private, separate from the company. He moved everything into a trust 3 years ago. Who inherits this trust? Marcus's voice was deadly quiet. Thomas answered. Grace is the sole beneficiary. Explosion. WHAT, that's fraud. She manipulated him. We're contesting immediately. Thomas held up his hand. The trust was created 3 years ago. Your father was completely healthy, fully competent, multiple witnesses, everything properly documented and filed. You have no grounds to contest. She isolated him. Caroline shouted. Lived with him for 3 years. Obviously manipulated him. Miss Barrett lived with your father because he was grieving, because he needed family support. None of you provided that support. Your father documented that fact extensively. We visited, Jennifer said, twice monthly, 30 minutes. Your father recorded those visits, recorded your conversations about Grace, recorded you dismissing her sacrifice. All of it is documented. Marcus turned to me, face red. You planned this. 3 years of playing caregiver, positioning yourself. I cared for Dad because I loved him, not for money. I didn't even know about the trust until yesterday. Liar, you knew. I found a letter in his drawer. That's how I learned. Dad left it for me to find after the will reading. We're contesting, Caroline said. All of it. The trust is invalid. Contest if you want, Thomas said calmly. But be aware, you'll lose, and you'll waste money on legal fees. Your father anticipated this. Everything is ironclad. They stormed out, all 3 of them, furious, humiliated, defeated. I sat back down, shaking. Thomas smiled. Your father knew they'd react exactly like that. He wanted them to. Wanted them to show their true colors one final time. They'll never forgive me. They'll never forgive themselves for not seeing what your father valued, for choosing business over family, for losing $68 million because they visited twice monthly instead of daily. Everyone had said the will was clear. Marcus, Caroline, and Jennifer got Barrett Properties. Grace got nothing. But I checked Dad's drawer, found a letter, found the truth, and inherited more than they ever imagined. My siblings hired aggressive lawyers, filed motions claiming Dad had hidden marital assets, that the trust should be divided equally, that I'd manipulated him. They lost every motion. The judge ruled. William Barrett created this trust 3 years before his death. He was 72, healthy, mentally sharp. Multiple medical evaluations confirm competency. The trust is valid. But Your Honor, their attorney argued, Grace Barrett lived with Mr. Barrett for 3 years. She had undue influence. She lived with him because he was grieving his wife's death, because he needed family support. Where were Mr. Marcus Barrett, Miss Caroline Barrett, and Miss Jennifer Barrett during those 3 years? They were running his company. They were working, not supporting their father emotionally. The evidence is overwhelming. Grace provided daily care and companionship. The others visited twice monthly for 30 minutes. That's not family support. That's obligation. Then my attorney played the recordings. Marcus, Caroline, and Jennifer talking about me, calling me pathetic, saying I was wasting time, predicting I'd get nothing. The courtroom went silent. The judge looked disgusted. Your father heard these conversations, documented them, and decided you didn't deserve his personal fortune. He was right. Case dismissed. My siblings left, defeated, each with their $17.3 million in Barrett Properties shares. About $11 million after taxes. I kept my $68 million. Barrett Family Trust. All mine. But Thomas had one final document. Your father left this letter with instructions to give it to you after your siblings' legal challenge failed. I read it. Grace, if you're reading this, they contested and lost. Good. They deserved to lose. By now, you've heard the recordings. You know what they really thought of you. That you were wasting time. Positioning for inheritance. Being pathetic. I'm sorry you had to hear that, but I needed you to understand. I chose you because you're different. Because you value time over money, love over business. Here's what they don't know. Barrett Properties is worth $50 million now, but the company has problems. Declining market, rising costs, poor management decisions your siblings made while I was grieving. In 5 years, it'll be worth $40 million. Their shares will shrink. They'll each have maybe $8 million after taxes and decline. Barrett Family Trust is worth $68 million now, but it's invested in growth assets, appreciating real estate, technology stocks. In 5 years, it'll be worth $95 million. So really, you'll have 10 times what each of them has. Because you gave me 3 years, they gave me nothing. Use the trust well, sweetheart. Build something. Help people. Live the life you deserve. I love you. Thank you for being there when I needed you most. Dad, 5 years later, Barrett Properties was worth $38 million. My siblings' shares had declined. Marcus had $7.8 million. Caroline, $7.5 million. Jennifer, $7.2 million after lifestyle spending. Barrett Family Trust was worth $102 million. Dad had been right about everything. I used $15 million to establish the Sarah Barrett Foundation named after Mom, supporting grief counseling, helping families dealing with loss, kept $70 million invested. Started consulting business helping people transition from careers to caregiving, showing them it's not wasted time, it's invested time. Lived comfortably, not extravagantly. Dad would have approved. My siblings and I don't speak. They can't forgive Dad for choosing me, can't forgive themselves for not being there. I visited Dad's grave. Hi Dad, found your drawer, found the letter, found Thomas, found Barrett Family Trust. $68 million you built while I took care of you. Everyone said the will was clear. Marcus, Caroline, Jennifer got Barrett Properties. I got nothing, but you left me more. Worth $102 million now. Foundation is helping grieving families, showing them love matters more than business. Thank you for seeing what I gave, for valuing 3 years of time, for proving family beats work. Miss you every day. People ask, does it bother you that your siblings still think you manipulated your father? No, Dad's documents prove otherwise. Prove they were the ones focused on money. Prove I was focused on him. They gave business. I gave time. Dad valued time. Everyone said the will was clear. Barrett Properties divided 3 ways. Grace got nothing, but I checked Dad's drawer, found letter, found trust, found $68 million, worth $102 million now, while their shares declined to $7-8 million each. Because Dad knew, time appreciates, business declines, love wins. If this moved you, hit like button, subscribe and turn on notifications. Stories where caregiving daughters inherit more than working siblings. This channel. Share with someone sacrificing career for family, someone told they're wasting time, someone whose siblings only do business. Let them know. Real inheritance hides in drawers. Comment. Ever gave up career for elderly parent? Had siblings stay away? Found hidden trust? Tell your story. Dad locked drawer with $68 million trust. Everyone said will was clear. I checked his drawer, found everything. See you next video. Remember, public wills deceive. Locked drawers reveal truth.